Cleanup continues over in Lawrence County, Illinois. That's where over 200 barrels of crude oil and 1,000 barrels of salt water were released from the Indian Liberty Boyd facility.
The Illinois Environmental Protection Agency has now referred an enforcement action to the state's Attorney General. That's to ensure Indian Liberty obeys proper cleanup procedures. News 10's Caitlin Hunt visited the facility earlier today. She's live in our newsroom with more.
Patrice, Ron, Darrell, when I visited the facility today, there was a whole team of people out front digging up soil and monitoring the local waterways. Now, the Lawrence County EMA says that there is no threat to the public right now, but one professor says situations like these need to be closely monitored.
5 days after the initial spill, and crews at the Boyd facility of Indian Liberty are still cleaning up the 1,000 barrels of salt water and the 250 barrels of crude oil that leaked from the facility Friday. Indiana University professor Gabriel Filippelli says oil leaks or spills like this are pretty uncommon and can happen due to a number of different things.
Equipment failure, right? If you have liquids like this, in this case crude oil and brine, saltwater brine traveling through pipes or in containers, those can fail. But there's also human error.
No matter the fault, it's critical that all of these materials are removed from the area's soil and waterways. Filippelli says these materials can cause major disruptions to local ecosystems. The Illinois Environmental Protection Agency says the hazardous materials from the Indian Liberty plant flowed into nearby Muddy Creek, Imbra River, and maybe even the Wabash. While cleanup crews have been using vacuums and booms to remove any of these materials, Filippelli says the saltwater brine mix can't be contained by these tools and could travel farther than imagined.
They travel almost along with the water, and when you raise the salinity, saltiness of natural waters, it can cause significant environmental disruption, and those things can travel farther than oil usually.
Filippelli says the cleanup crews will have to attack the spill at its source, as that should stop any more leaks or spread to the soil and water. But only time will tell what land and water locations have been impacted. The Illinois EPA has referred Indian Liberty to the state's Attorney General for enforcement, and this would require the company to collect soil samples, remove impacted vegetation, and properly dispose of all material. And Filippelli estimates that cleanup will likely take a week, but the EPA may have its eye on the Boyd facility for some time.
If this was just a weird fluke accident, that's one thing. But if it's part of a systemic pattern of problems, then they need to police these things a little bit more carefully.
Now, once again, the Lawrence County EMA says that there is no threat to the public at this time, but it is recommended that you avoid the area around the facility. Live in the newsroom, Caitlin Hunt, News 10.